Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose.
Throughout the 1970s, President Steve Jobs sparked a revolution in technology. Apple was able to be so successful because of his beyond-time inventions. Even though people were controversial about his plans, his reforms led to greatest surge of electronic products. Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955. At a young age, he was adopted. He didn't really like school much, but breezed by it because he was so intelligent. He really only liked working with electronics. When he graduated, he only went to Reed College for one semester.
During his senior year, Steve met up with a guy in electronics class. His name was Steve Wozniak, and the two of them had the same interest in technology. Jobs was more of the thinker, and Wozniak was more of the builder. They both worked at Atari after college, but looked forward to using their talent with technology. Their first invention they built together was the Blue Box. It allowed you to make free calls in any location.
After building a couple, Jobs had the idea of selling the device.
Later, they wanted to get more serious in their inventing. They wanted to make a company. After discussing a while, Jobs came up with the name Apple.
The two of them began working in Jobs' garage in Wozniak's house. They set out to make the first Apple computer. After the days of hard work, the first one was made and ready to sell for about $666. It wasn't a huge success, but they had more ideas and designs for their young company. Two of them had been thinking and came up with the idea of a personal computer. Soon after, they began gathering parts.
On April 16, 1977, the Apple II was introduced.
In 1977, Apple, a young, fledgling company on the West Coast, invents the Apple II, the first personal computer as we know it today. IBM dismisses the personal computer as too small to do serious computing and unimportant to their business. The early 80s. 81. Apple II has become the world's most popular computer, and Apple has grown to a $300 million company, becoming the fastest growing corporation in American business history.
In 1982, Apple's annual sales were at $1 billion, while Microsoft's was only at $32 million. When searching for a CEO for Apple, Jobs came across John Sculley, who had been working at Pepsi. Sculley wasn't sure at first if he was into it, but then Steve asked him, "Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to come with me and change the world?" Sculley later thought about it and joined as Apple's new CEO. On January 24, 1984, the Macintosh was introduced. Steve Jobs introduced his product to more than 3,000 people that day.
You've just seen some pictures of Macintosh. Now I'd like to show you Macintosh in person. Now we've done a lot of talking about Macintosh recently, but today, for the first time ever, I'd like to let Macintosh speak for itself.
Hello, I'm Macintosh. It sure is great to get out of that bag. Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I'd like to share with you a action I thought of the first time I made an IBM mainframe. Never trust a computer you can't live. Obviously I can talk, but right now I'd like to sit back and listen. So it is with considerable pride that I introduce a man who's been like a father to me, Steve Jobs.
Along with the Apple II, the Macintosh is what really gave Apple its name. Soon after the Macintosh came out, hundreds of thousands of people wanted it, and immediately it became one of the most popular products on the market. What really made Macintosh so amazing and so different from all the other computers that were on the market back then was, for one, you could carry it around, and it was simple yet complex and powerful.
It's now 1985, and although Steve had a very creative mind, he also had a mind of his own. This made him very stubborn and hard to work with when it came to new ideas, decisions, and plans for new Apple products. Most of the employees of Apple did not like this about Steve Jobs and confronted John Sculley about it. John had agreed, and in April of 1985, Steve Jobs was fired from the company he had created. That didn't stop him from being involved in the technology industry. The same year, Jobs created a computer-based company called Next. The company was not overall a huge success because each computer was very expensive. Computers like the Cube cost $6,500.
But Jobs wasn't only focused on making computers. He was also interested in animation. In 1986, he bought Lucasfilms from George Lucas, the same creator of the movie series Star Wars. He renamed the company Pixar. With Pixar, Jobs was a huge success. He helped create movies such as Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., A Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, and Incredibles.
After seeing success, Apple wanted to get Jobs back. Even though Jobs had been very furious with Apple and selling his 6.5 million shares in Apple stock, which was worth more than $100 million, not to mention being fired for more than 11 years, Steve Jobs was back with his company. Jobs immediately got to work. In just 2 years, he came up with the iMac. The iMac was a whole new revolution itself. Not only did it look nice, but it performed at a level that a person wouldn't expect. It reformed the way people looked at technology. Even Michael Dell, the co-founder of Dell Computers, suggested that Steve Jobs should close Apple.
This is iMac.
In 2001, Jobs went big again by inventing the iPod. No other brand had a more portable MP3 player that could hold 1,000 songs like the iPod.
Music's been around forever. It will always be around. This is not a speculative market. And because it's a part of everyone's life, it's a very large target market all around the world. It knows no boundaries. But interestingly enough, in this whole new digital music revolution, there is no market leader. There are small companies like Creative and Sonic Blue, and then there's some large companies like Sony that haven't had a hit yet. They haven't found the recipe. No one has really found the recipe yet for digital music. And we think not only can we find the recipe, but we think the Apple brand is going to be fantastic because people trust the Apple brand to get their great digital electronics from.
The same year, Jobs created the iTunes Store, which allowed you to buy and sync music straight to your iPod from your computer. Jobs was continuing to succeed. In 2006, Disney bought Pixar for $7.4 billion.
In 2007, the iPhone was introduced. People reacted to the incredible touchscreen phone, and in the first week, over 1 million were sold.
Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
When the iPad came out in 2010, it made $65.2 billion in the first year. After the release of the new iPad in March, over 3 million were sold in the first 3 days, clearly stating that the Apple iPad overpowers all other tablets. Throughout the 1970s to present, Steve Jobs sparked a revolution in technology. Apple was able to be so successful because of his beyond-time inventions. After being fired from Apple, Steve Jobs traveled from company to company until landing back with Apple in 1996. Even though people were controversial with his plans, his reforms led to the greatest surge of electronic products.